Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are looking at a topic that, on the surface, feels a bit like, eating your vegetables. It's CIMA E1, specifically the first two chapters, Managing Finance in a Digital World.
It does sound a bit dry, doesn't it? Managing finance. But if you peel back the layers, this is actually, I think, a survival guide.
Survival guide.
Yeah, we aren't just talking about debits and credits here. We are talking about how a finance professional survives in an environment where businesses can be, well, destroyed overnight by a competitor they didn't even know existed.
That's the digital world part of the title. And I want to start there because the source material makes a pretty aggressive point right out of the gate.
It does.
It basically says the old comfortable world where you had a local factory and, local customers, that's dead.
It is absolutely dead. The text refers to this as technological connectedness, which is a very polite way of saying nowhere is safe. In the past, if you were a manufacturer in the UK or the US, you had these natural barriers protecting you. It cost a fortune to set up a factory, build a distribution network, ship goods.
You had a moat around your castle.
Exactly. A big one. But technology has drained the moat. The example the text uses is the relationship between Chinese manufacturing and platforms like eBay or Amazon. Suddenly, a factory in Shenzhen doesn't need a UK distributor. They can sell directly to a customer in Birmingham or Boston. The barrier to entry has just collapsed.
So for the finance team, this isn't just an IT problem. It fundamentally changes the risk profile of the whole company.
Precisely. And that's the narrative arc we're going to trace today. We start with the organization itself, what it is and how it's threatened.
Okay.
Then we'll look at the new tools we need to measure success, because simple profit just doesn't cut it anymore. We'll look at the guardrails, governance, and ethics that keep us from driving off a cliff.
Then finally,
We'll look at the daily workflow, the specific activities that turn a bean counter into a strategic partner.
let's start with the basics then. The organization. The text defines it as a social arrangement with collective goals, which is broad. But where it gets tricky and where I think students often trip up is distinguishing between the different types of organizations.
It's a common exam trap. You have to know who you're working for because it dictates what winning actually looks like.
The private sector seems easy. Profit, make money for the shareholders.
Yeah.
But the public sector, that's a lot messier.
Right. In the public sector, think schools, hospitals, government departments.
Yeah.
The goal is service delivery. But the budget is limited.
So there's this constant tension.
A constant tension between quality of service and cost. You can't just raise prices like a private company can.
And then there's this third category that I found really interesting, the quangos.
Yes, the quasi-autonomous non-governmental organizations.
It sounds like a bureaucratic nightmare.
It can be. These are bodies like ACS in the UK, which resolves labor disputes.
Yeah.
Or Ofsted, which inspects schools. Now, think about the finance director's role there. You're funded by the government, so you're relying on the public purse. But you're supposed to be independent of the government.
So if you're the finance director at Ofsted and the government cuts your budget but also demands you inspect more schools, you're stuck right in the middle.
Exactly. You have a political master and an operational mandate, and they often conflict. That's the real insight here. It's not just about knowing the definition of a quango. It's about understanding that in that environment, your stakeholders are literally fighting each other.
Which brings us to the scoreboard. If I'm in a private company, I can just look at the bottom line. Did we make a profit? Great. But in a quango or a charity, profit is too blunt a tool.
Profit is a lag indicator. It tells you what happened 6 months ago. In a fast-moving digital world, that's just too late. This is why CIMA introduces the concept of value, and specifically the 3 E's.
The 3 E's, economy, efficiency, effectiveness.
If you are taking the exam, you need to burn these into your brain. But more importantly, you have to understand the tension between them.
Okay, let's walk through a scenario. Let's say I run a company that makes, office chairs, high-end ergonomic chairs.
Okay, good example. Let's look at economy first. This is strictly about inputs. It's about spending the least amount of money to get the necessary resources.
So getting my wood cheaper.
Exactly. If you find a lumber supplier who sells you wood for 20% less than the market rate, you have achieved economy.
Great. I'm saving money. I'm the hero.
Not yet. Now we move to efficiency. This is the process. It's the ratio of inputs to outputs.
How fast we make the chairs.
Pretty much. If your factory workers can turn that wood into 50 chairs an hour instead of 40, they're being efficient. Speed, productivity, utilization.
So I bought cheap wood, and I'm building shares at record speed. I am definitely the hero now.
And this is the trap, because we haven't talked about effectiveness. Effectiveness is about the output. Did you achieve the objective? Did the chair actually solve the customer's back pain? Did anyone actually buy it?
Right, so if I bought cheap wood that just snaps in half.
And you efficiently built 1,000 chairs an hour that all snap in half. You have been highly economical and highly efficient at destroying your business.
That's a really crucial distinction. I feel like in the corporate world, we obsess over efficiency because it's so easy to measure on a spreadsheet.
Of course. Look, we cut headcount. Look, we sped up production.
Exactly.
Efficiency is easy to measure. Effectiveness is hard. But in the digital world, effectiveness is the only thing that matters. You can automate a bad process and just make mistakes faster.
So the key takeaway is what?
Effectiveness has to come first. Does the customer want this? Only then do you try to do it cheaply and quickly.
That segues really well into the value matrix mentioned in the text. It kind of visualizes the shift in the accountant's role.
Right. Picture a simple grid. On the left, you have preserving value. This is the traditional role. Keeping assets safe, recording transactions, ensuring no one is stealing from the till. Stewardship.
The bean counter.
Yes. And let's be clear, you absolutely need that. If you don't have accurate records, you go to jail. But that is now the baseline. The digital world requires you to move to the right side of the matrix, creating value.
So moving from here's what we spent to here's how we grow.
Precisely. It's about value enabling and value analysis. Instead of just reporting that sales dropped, you are analyzing why and advising marketing on how to fix it. You become a partner, not just a scorekeeper.
But there's a danger there, isn't there? I mean, if you push finance people to be creative and growth-oriented, you might encourage some risky behavior.
A massive danger. And that is why we have corporate governance.
Right. The text brings up the agency problem. This is a classic economic concept.
It's the fundamental flaw in modern capitalism, really. In a small shop, the owner is the manager. If the manager steals cash, he's only stealing from himself. No conflict. But in a big corporation like Google or BP, the owners are the shareholders, thousands of them scattered all over the world. The managers are the directors.
And the directors might not have the shareholders' best interests at heart.
Exactly. We call the shareholders the principals and the directors the agents. The problem is, the agents might want a private jet. Or they might want to acquire a competitor just to make the company look bigger so they get a massive bonus.
Even if it's a terrible deal for the actual owners.
A terrible deal. Or, and this is so common, they focus on short-term profits. They cut R&D, they cut staff training just to boost this quarter's earnings per share.
So the stock bumps up, they cash out their options, and 3 years later, the company collapses.
That is the textbook agency problem, short-termism. So how do we fix it? We use governance codes. And the text contrasts two major approaches here.
The U.S. approach and the U.K. approach. The rules versus principles debate.
That's it. The U.S. approach, which is the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or SOX, was born out of scandals like Enron. It is rules-based. Think of it like a strict speed limit sign that says 55 mph.
Okay.
If you drive 56, you get a ticket. It doesn't matter if the road is empty and it's sunny. It's the law.
Rigid. And expensive to comply with, I imagine.
Very. But it's clear. The UK Corporate Governance Code takes a different route. It's principles-based. The analogy here is a sign that just says, drive safely.
That seems incredibly vague.
It is flexible. The mechanism is comply or explain. You are supposed to follow the rules, like splitting the CEO and chairman roles. But if you have a good reason not to, you don't go to jail. You just have to explain to the shareholders why you didn't do it.
We are driving 90 miles per hour because we are an ambulance, basically.
Right. And then the shareholders decide if that explanation is good enough. If it is, great. If not, they sell the stock or fire the board.
But for that to work, you need independent people inside the boardroom checking the speedometer.
You do. And these are the non-executive directors, the NEDs.
The text calls them the constructive challenge.
That's a polite way of saying they're professional skeptics. They are not employees. They shouldn't have close ties to the bosses. They sit on the board specifically to say, wait a minute, why are we paying the CEO $20 million when profits are down?
And they staff the key committees, right? The audit committee, remuneration. So the CEO isn't setting his own homework and then grading it.
Exactly. It creates a system of checks and balances.
But systems are only as good as the people running them. You can have all the committees in the world, but if everyone is corrupt, it doesn't matter. This leads us to ethics. And CIMA gives us a mnemonic here. PIPCO.
PIPCO. Professional competence, integrity, professional behavior, confidentiality, and objectivity.
I usually hate these acronyms. They feel like rote learning. But in a digital world, these actually take on a whole new meaning. Take professional competence.
Right. 10 years ago, confidence meant knowing tax law. Today,
Yeah.
if you're a finance director and you don't understand how your company's AI algorithm works or you don't understand cybersecurity risks, are you actually competent?
That's a tough bar to clear. It means you can't just coast on your degree from 20 years ago.
You absolutely cannot. And look at confidentiality. In the old days, that meant locking the filing cabinet. Now, it means understanding encryption, data access rights, GDPR. One lost laptop can destroy a company's reputation.
Which connects to the broader idea of CSR, corporate social responsibility. The text suggests this is evolving into corporate digital responsibility.
It is. We used to worry about companies dumping chemicals in the river. Now we worry about them dumping our private data onto the dark web or using biased algorithms to deny people loans.
So the ethical question isn't just, is it legal? It's, is it right?
Exactly. Just because you can track your employees' every keystroke, should you? That is an ethical decision for finance and HR to make together.
Okay, so we've got the big picture. We know the risks, the goals, the rules. Now I want to get practical. The text outlines the activities of finance professionals. It uses the 5 A's.
This is the workflow. This is what you actually do on a Tuesday morning. The 5 A's trace the journey of information from raw data to business impact.
Step 1, assemble.
This is the bookkeeping, capturing data. But here's the critical distinction. Data versus information.
Explain that, because people use them interchangeably all the time.
They do. Data is raw facts. Customer X bought item Y for $10. If you have a million lines of that, it's just useless noise. Information is when you process that data to make it useful. Sales of item Y are down 20% in the Northeast region. You assemble data to create information.
Okay, so after assemble comes step 2, analyze.
This is where the brain work starts.
Yeah.
Why are sales down? You look for patterns, trends, correlations. You compare it to the budget. You compare it to what competitors are doing.
Then step 3, advise.
And this is the hardest part for many traditional accountants. You have to leave your desk. You have to go to the sales director and say, look, sales are down because our price point is too high compared to the new competition. You have to communicate the insight in a way that non-finance people understand.
And step 4 is apply.
The business takes action. They lower the price. They launch a marketing campaign, whatever it is.
And the last one, step 5 is acumen.
Acumen isn't really a step. It's more like the glue that holds it all together. It's commercial acumen.
So understanding the business.
Deeply understanding the business model, how the company actually makes money. If you don't get that, your analysis will be wrong and your advice will be useless.
So acumen is what prevents you from making a suggestion that looks good on a spreadsheet, but would actually kill the company in reality.
Perfectly put. It's knowing that cutting the marketing budget might save cash today, but destroy the brand tomorrow.
I want to double-click on that assemble phase for a second, because if the data coming in is garbage, everything that follows is going to be garbage too. The text gives us a checklist for data quality. Accurate.
Yes. ACCURATE stands for accurate.
Is it correct?
Complete. We have the full picture. Cost effective. Did we spend more getting data than it's worth?
Understandable, relevant, accessible.
Timely and easy to use. Is it in the right format?
I want to pick on timely, because in a digital world, the definition of timely has completely changed.
Drastically. 20 years ago, a monthly report was considered timely. Today, if a competitor drops their price on Amazon at 9 a.m. and you don't know about it until the end of the month, you're dead. Timely now often means real time.
And cost-effective is interesting, too. It feels like you can just drown in data these days.
You can. And just because you can measure everything doesn't mean you should. There's a real cost to storage, processing, and what they call analysis paralysis. Good finance professionals know what not to measure.
So let's try to pull this all together. We started with a finance professional sitting in a dusty old office somewhere.
And we realized that office is actually on the front line of a digital war. Global competition means they need to focus on creating value, not just preserving it. They need to prioritize effectiveness, doing the right thing, over just efficiency.
They need to navigate the agency problem using governance structures like NEDs and committees to keep the bosses honest.
And they need to uphold strict ethics PIPCO, even when technology creates all these new gray areas like data privacy.
And finally, they need to execute the 5 A's, turning raw data into strategic advice using their commercial acumen.
That is the transformation. And here's the final provocation for you, for the listener. Look at those 5 A's again. Assemble, analyze, advise, apply, acumen.
Okay, got 'em.
The first two, assemble and analyze, are being automated as we speak. AI can record transactions. AI can spot trends and variances much faster than any human can.
So if your entire skill set is I'm really good at Excel and I can spot a variance, you are in trouble.
You are obsolete. The future of the finance profession, the real value, lies in the last 3 A's. Advise, apply, and acumen. The machines can give you the numbers. Only a human can understand the context, the ethics, and the strategy to tell the business what to do with them.
That is a terrifying but also a very motivating thought. Stop being a calculator, start being a partner.
That's it, exactly.
We'll leave it there. Thanks for the breakdown.
My pleasure.
And thanks for listening. Good luck with your studies, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.